All right, 88-87, Miami over Syracuse. Just your run-of-the-mill Thursday podcast here. Nothing to discuss. Not upset. We're happy. Everything's fine. The world's not falling.
I'm not mad. You're mad.
I'm not mad. We're all good. Locked On Syracuse Podcast coming up next.
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome on in. Locked On Syracuse Podcast. We thank you for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen every single weekday. Tim, Leonard, Tyler Aki fired up today after this loss to Miami, and today's episode is brought to you by NetSuite. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. Head to netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA for special end-of-the-year financing on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. So first off, we're free and available wherever you get your podcast. If you're new to the show, what a great time to join. 7-7, 500 for the first time this late in a Jim Boeheim tenure. No, but in all seriousness, it gives us something to talk about. I mean, I'm fired up today.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
I mean, I'm not even mad. I'm just laughing. Like, how does this happen? I'm not even mad. I'm just laughing.
Are you disappointed? I think that's where I'm at. Not mad, disappointed.
Yeah, disappointed. Yeah. I feel like everyone's father. Not mad, but disappointed right now.
Right.
Because this is... You dominated that first half. Absolutely dominated. And you could see the cracks start to show, I think, in the final 3 or so defensive possessions of that first half. Miami got a couple cheap ones that you let up, and maybe you got a little fat and happy with how you felt. But, I mean, you look at this was a very winnable game on the road. This would have felt like a great win. The way they played in that first half. I'm not even saying you had to replicate that, but if you could play to a tie with Miami in that second half. Instead, you let up almost 60 points. You played pretty well defensively in that first half, I thought, at least for the first 19 minutes of it. And then offensively, you were shooting the lights out. I mean, how many games is a team going to lose when they shoot 53% from three and make 17 of those threes? Not many, but this team found a way to do it.
Yeah, it's even more frustrating when they did it by losing the lead really quickly and blowing in the second half, which we've seen now several times. Stephen Bailey had a good tweet that I believe you quote tweeted from our account if anyone missed it. What was it, 15% or is the average of how it 15%, goes up, field goal percentage?
Yeah. Well, it's I can't remember the exact numbers. I'll look for the tweet right now, but it was opponents have shot 15% better in the second half in a number of games against Syracuse. Here, I'm scrolling, I'm looking for the tweet.
And Indiana was the only one.
Here we go.
I remember he said that.
Yeah. 7 of the 12.
Okay.
7 of the last 12 games, opponents have shot 50% or better in the second half. And they are 1-6 in those games with what you said, Indiana being the only victory.
Right.
I mean, that's putrid.
It's awful. It's amazing how quickly this team can lose a lead. And I tweeted that out because that's something that I brought up, I remember earlier in the season. It's a testament to a bad team, I feel like, if you're able to lose a lead as quickly as Syracuse is. And they're up 18 with 59 seconds left in the first half. Joe Girard hits a 3. 44-26 is the score. Everything's looking great. 59 seconds left before half. Then you fast forward 6 minutes and change of game time. Basically 6 minutes later in the game, and they're down by 2, and it's 50-48 Miami. 14:51 remaining. They took their first lead of the game. That's indescribable. I mean, I've never seen a team relinquish a lead. 24-4 run over 6 minutes. How do you let that happen? That's putrid.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not just an isolated incident. This is literally the same thing that happened against Indiana. Big time lead going into that second half. And then it was like poof, all of a sudden the switch flipped and it was a completely different team out there. It's so frustrating. And it gets me thinking, like, is this more frustrating than the Colgate loss? No, but you better not have one more frustrating. Well, I mean, think about the opponent too. You're at home for that
in a
game,
vacuum.
and
No, Right. I mean, the game went pretty much how I thought it was going to. Like 88-87, I wouldn't have been shocked if you told me that was the final. I would have been shocked if you told me the Colgate final before, but it's adding up, and now this is 3 or 4 times we've seen the team play like this. That's why, it might be more frustrating.
Yeah, and this is a team that very easily could be 3-0 right now in the ACC. But some of the performances that they've submitted lately, they're certainly not a team that should be 3-0 in the ACC. And you're kind of wondering, how the hell did this team beat Florida State? I mean, I know Florida State's had their troubles, but my goodness. I mean, I cannot get over this. There are so many different little nuances to this game. It's like, all right, you're starting to give up a lead here, right? Like you're starting to chip away. Miami's within 8. Miami's within 6. All right, you got to change something, Jim. Like something's got to change. And I don't understand why you didn't go with some of your more defensive players in that second half. Say a Benny Williams, say a Symir Torrence. It's like, and when he did it, when he put him in, first 3 defensive possessions, forced turnover, and then a strip that went out of bounds. So active hands were leading to good things for your team. And it just felt like it was too little too late. And at that point, everything was sort of out of hand.
Yeah, and look, I've never really been the guy that's thought the reason why we lose games is because these guys get tired. And I've talked about that before on this podcast, how the Indiana game's a good example of Buddy should be on his last legs. You're coming off Battle for Atlantis. He still puts up big numbers. But I don't know, maybe when your team is constantly losing in the second half, you dip into your bench more. They played 7 guys in this game. Frank Anselm out of the rotation in this game.
What does Frank have to do? Has Frank done anything in the last couple games?
I mean, I'm joking, but
I'm asking you. I'm asking you, man to man here. Like, what has Frank done in the last 2-3 games that said, nope, you're not playing this game?
Remember Georgetown? That was 4 games ago when we were like, wow, Frank Anselm, look at that move to the basket. He's coming along. Yeah. Let's get him some more minutes.
On transition. Right? Yeah. He has not done a single thing these last couple of games where it's like, you know what? Nope, you're not playing next game. Like Jesse fouled out in this game and he did not play. What more does he have to do?
Again, pure speculation. This is something we could talk about on another time when we don't have so much to recap from this individual game, but why wouldn't he transfer? Right? Like I'm worried he transfers. I don't know if that's going to become more and more of a thing as we get into the ACC season. It's the first game he's been out of the rotation.
Who knows?
Yeah. He could. I'm really worried about the future of the program more than anything. Next year is coming quick, and it's Joe Girard, and it's Jesse, and it's a lot of freshmen. And yes, the freshman class is good, but are they going to be ready to contribute right away? They're going to need to be because this team's got a long way to go right now. And you find it's odd how it was sort of the inverse of the Virginia game where the Boeheim brothers carried us in the Virginia game. No one else could do anything. Yeah. This game, Jimmy is airballing free throws. I mean, he's got basically the yips at the free throw line, it seems like. Yeah. And I know you hesitate to say that word, but that's what it looks like. And Buddy's struggling because he's getting double teamed, so I don't blame him as much. But still, it was weird to see so many career nights wasted. Yeah.
I mean, go through the list here, all right? Girard has 7 3-pointers in this game, career high. Jesse Edwards, 22 points in this game, career high. Cole Swider goes 6 for 9 shooting the 3-ball in this game, including the one for the backdoor cover at the end. I mean, what a cover that was for Cole Swider for the +2 crowd on BetOnline.ag. Benny Williams played the best game of his career. All right, like listen, I'm not a huge plus-minus guy. Okay, not a huge plus-minus guy in basketball, but I think there are certain moments where it's telling. Benny Williams was a +9 in this game. Game high.
Jimmy Boeheim was -10. I think I saw.
Yeah. Yep. You're correct on that. So it's like, I thought Benny was fantastic defensively in this game. He made the 3. He was aggressive. He was doing some things defensively that were really, really like, I didn't get it. I don't understand how he went out there and played the fewest minutes of any of the 7 guys that saw the floor today. Because I thought he put together one of his best performances of his career.
Finally was playing with some confidence. It was encouraging stuff in the first half. First career 3, I believe, was the one he made. And I mean, it looked good. I was feeling good vibes. The vibes couldn't have been better 20 minutes into the game. And there was a little part of me that was worried we've been here before. But gosh, it just felt like this one was going to be different because that was as good of a half as we've seen them play. And then they followed it up with probably their worst half of the year.
not only was it as good of a half as they've played, it was a damn good half, probably their best half of basketball, definitely one of the top 3 halves of basketball that they've played this year. But he didn't even play well. Like,
I know
your best player
3
did not play well. Everyone else stepped up, whether it was Cole, whether it was those solid minutes from Benny, like we mentioned, whether it was, Girard was fantastic the entire game. And you get that's the dud you get right there. And that's frustrating to see in a game like this where you had this one in your hands and you just let it slip away.
Yeah. And also Jesse, I don't know how we haven't talked a little bit more about him, but we'll do that after this short break real quick, because huge game for Jesse, but this is it. The putt to win the tournament. If you sink it, the championship is yours. But on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. This is how you want to be running your business. Poor visibility because you're still relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance software. To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. Over 28,000 businesses already use NetSuite, and for the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/locked. Head to netsuite.com/locked for the special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses, netsuite.com/locked. So Jesse, he's flirting with a triple-double at one point in this game, and he has his career high.
Quadruple-double if you include turnovers, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. 6 turnovers, I think, was
just saying.
The final
6
count.
Was the final number.
7 blocks, 5 of them coming in the first half. He might have been listening to the podcast, honestly, because I think this is more me, but I was criticizing his defense. And I do want to say we had some tweets that were sort of getting on me, I think, for that a little bit. And I feel like a lot of people were bringing up, well, Cole and Jimmy are worse defenders than Jesse. And the reason why we're upset at Jesse is because he's not covering what used to be the responsibility of the forward. For the record, I totally agree. I think Cole and Jimmy are worse defenders.
I think we said as much too. Like, Jesse's life is being made tough because of the deficiencies of Cole and Jimmy. But we've also said when Benny's out there, he's a much better defender. That being Jesse. Jesse's life is made a lot easier when Benny's out there. I'd have to go back and rewatch the game, but I'd be curious how many of the 7 blocks came while Benny was on the floor. I would guess
that'd be interesting. And I don't think it's necessarily Benny is in better position. It's just he can scramble and recover and do the athletic things you need in the 2-3 zone way better than Jimmy and Cole.
Yeah, I saw one closeout that Jimmy Boeheim had that may have been the worst basketball closeout I've ever seen from any level. Like, I'm talking third graders, small fry basketball, all the way up to the NBA. He literally ran at a guy and had a half skip in there too. I got to go back and find the clip and clip it up and show it and tweet it out because it is the worst closeout I've ever seen on a basketball floor ever. It was that bad.
Yeah. No, in a team that's very unathletic, Jimmy's probably the worst in that category. And I think he's been overall pretty good this year. He's 2 points away from getting to 1,000 points in his career. It looked like he was going to hit it tonight. Didn't get the first bucket, which is shocking.
Yeah,
Jesse
that's when you knew. That's when you got scary vibes in this game.
Well, it was a tone setter because Jesse has this unbelievable game. Yeah.
How many dunks did Jesse have tonight? Do you have that number?
I don't.
I see 7.
8.
I see Syracuse had 7 dunks. Okay. I'm trying to think. Did anyone else besides Jesse have one of them?
No, we don't have athletes to dunk besides Jesse. I mean, Benny could do it, but I didn't see a Benny dunk tonight. I guess Jimmy
see a Benny dunk.
Has got a word with me after the last game. He did have a pretty nice dunk, but I do think that if we're getting dunks, it's probably Jesse or Frank. That's pretty much it on this year's team. Jesse, they were double teaming Buddy, and he was just left open, and he was feasting. He played with that aggression that we've been calling for, and he was a lot better on defense. I didn't think his defense was incredible in the second half. I thought it was fine in the second half, but first half, got to give him a lot of credit. 5 block shots in the first half, came out of the gates and just was ready to go from the jump.
Yeah, and I think it ultimately comes down to minutes. I mean, Benny Williams played 6 minutes in the first half. I think it's no coincidence that Jesse's defense was better in the first half. Benny played 3 minutes in the second half. I think it's no coincidence that Jesse was forced to foul a little bit more too. He fouled out of this game after having just 1 at the half. And it just, again, it makes life difficult on Jesse Edwards when you don't have support on the wings defensively. When Benny was out there, he looks like a completely different player, not just from a defensive standpoint, but from a rebounding standpoint too. He just looks like a different player. He can patrol in that area. He can go up and elevate and grab rebounds over a weak rebounding team like Miami.
Yeah, I do think the most important stat of this game, Jim Boeheim was very adamant about this post-game as well, the turnovers. Turnover margin, 19 turnovers for Syracuse. I'm saying 10 for Miami in this game. So you lose the turnover margin by 9. I've hit on this a lot this year. That is a huge difference in this year's 2-3 zone, is the turnover margin. Don't have it in front of me, but it's somewhere around 200 in the nation. Most years, they're top 50. They're really good 2-3 zone years. They're top 30, top 20. The rebounding is always an issue, but usually they get turnovers to compensate that. And they're not getting them this year. And also, Joe Girard, these teams are just going to start pressuring Syracuse. That's what Miami did when they went on their run. I mean, it's not like I could coach a team and tell you should pressure Syracuse. And I've never been a basketball coach in my life. Like it's not rocket science. You see what other teams have done, and it's clearly working, and it's not that tough to defend against Syracuse or game plan against Syracuse. You say, all right, Cole Swider, Joe Girard, let's take them out of the game from 3-point range as much as we can. It's still pretty tough to do that, but as much as you can, and you try and pressure him, and you guard Joe Girard tight, and he struggled against tight pressure. He did play a good game in this game, and we called that. We said this was going to be a bounce-back game for him. It's a very fitting 2-game stretch for his Syracuse legacy here to go really poor game against Virginia, 26 points on a loss that is probably going to be forgotten about, where he did make 7 threes, but some of those were garbage time, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, I look at it this way too. You brought up the turnovers there. Syracuse coughed it up 19 times. Only 2 were from the point guard position. Only 2. One from Girard, one from Torrence. You'll take that every day of the week. But the 17 coming from the other 5 guys on the floor, that's a problem. That's a big-time problem. And I think a big part of that was they asked Jimmy Boeheim to handle the basketball way too much. And I think they asked Jesse Edwards to handle the basketball way too much. Why is Jesse Edwards part of the press break in the first quarter of the court, right? Like what is his purpose there? Get him all the way on the other side. So maybe you even have an outlet pass all the way up ahead for an easy dunk. Jesse's not going to do a whole heck of a lot in that first quarter, first third of the floor in a press break. That's what I don't get. Jimmy Boeheim is one of the worst ball handlers on this team. And for him to have been such an integral part of that press break, I'm surprised he only had 3 turnovers, honestly. I would wonder how many of those were miscalculated, because I don't know if you were following along on the live stats. It was not the sharpest day for the live stats of the Miami Hurricanes in this one, was seeing how a lot of baskets and turnovers were misattributed in this game. But this team needs a true ball handler, and Symir can be that guy at times, but he also does some things that are a little bit suspect as well, and can turn the ball over and have those sort of nights. So I don't like it. You need a true ball handler who can handle pressure. And right now this team doesn't have that. And they don't have a guy who can really break through any sort of press with any sort of confidence.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is this is a roster that they didn't recruit this roster, I guess is the way I'd phrase it. Like
they pieced it together.
They were sort of, it was pasted together after you lost all your recruits in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And if you had time to say, all right, we're losing X guy in X year, and then, okay, Dolezaj is gone, so we need someone to break the press. We need a forward that can break the press. We need that skill. Well, we don't have it. Jimmy can't do that. He is billed as the Marek Dolezaj replacement, and he's been good this year, but we're still missing little facets that every winning team needs. Like, if they had time to recruit the roster and plan it out, they would have realized, oh, crap, we don't have athletes. We need more athletes on this team. But all the athletes you lost, Quincy, Kadari, Robert Braswell, very underrated defender, gone. So that's why this roster, is it talented? Like, sort of, because these guys can make shots and they're skilled offensively, but it's not like the roster, the sum of its pieces doesn't equal greater than its parts, or whatever that expression is.
Like, no, you hit it on the head there.
It doesn't add up.
I just started to think of this too, and I may have my years off, so maybe it's 3 of the last 4, but think about who Syracuse has recently recruited to be a press breaker, right? You think of Jalen Carey, you think of Bryson Goodine, and you think of Kadari Richmond. Those guys aren't on the roster anymore. And those are three of the guys that when Boeheim was recruiting them, hey, we're getting a little bit of pressure. I want that guy to help bring the ball up the floor. None of them are on the roster right now, and that's a problem.
Right. And Symir Torrence, I will say, he was a good ad in terms of filling little spots.
Can you imagine imagine this team without Symir right now?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he doesn't
do
Superman.
a ton. I mean, he plays 10 minutes, but yeah.
He's not Superman, but he's a piece that you need. He's a piece that you need out there from a ball handling and just defensive standpoint too.
Yeah, and he was a good ad in terms of they looked at what Girard is and they found a guy that's not Girard and that could help us and provide a different skill set, but he still just has such a limited ceiling on offense.
Yeah.
He gets to the basket and he can't finish shots, so you can't really play him too much time. All right, we're going to dive into big picture thoughts on this team in just a second, kind of the overall state of what this season is trending towards at 7-7 on the year. Will they have a losing season, winning season? That type of discussion is coming up next. But first, with an incredible app that I got to tell you guys about where everyone is buying gas that needs to know about it. It's called GetUpside. My listeners are making up to 25 cents for every gallon of gas every time they fill up. Just download the free GetUpside app in the App Store or Google Play right now. Use promo code SCORE and get a bonus 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's up to 50 cents cash back. Don't pay full price at the pump anymore. Get cash back using GetUpside. Just download the app for free and use promo code SCORE to get up to 50 cents per gallon cash back on your first tank. Some people who drive a lot are making as much as $200 to $300 a month in cash back. And there's no catch. The cash back gets added right to your account. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download for free the GetUpside app and use promo code SCORE to get up to 50 cents per gallon cash back on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. And if you had Syracuse plus the 2, you're feeling pretty good after that Cole Swider heave today, weren't you? New year and a new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just got to use our promo code LOCKEDON. That's locked on, all one word, and that'll get you started with that 50% welcome bonus on that first deposit. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2022 seasons. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. So use that promo code LOCKEDON for a 50% welcome bonus on that first deposit. BetOnline is where the game starts.
All right, so Syracuse, I said at the top, 7-7. That is the latest into a season that the Cuse has ever been 500 in the 46 years under Jim Boeheim. Is this the losing season? I guess we start there. I don't think so, but what do you say? I do feel like if we didn't get the Cornell Brown games, which I think I said this at the time, that was really big for making sure you have a winning season. I would not feel good if we didn't have those games. So we're sitting at 5-7 right now, but you're going against Wake Forest on Saturday, a good team. You could be 7-8 here. Like, it's getting real. This could be the losing season.
Yeah, I guess the one saving grace here is you still have 2 against Boston College, 2 against Pitt, 1 against NC State. Like, that's your solace. I mean, I think I will say this. Syracuse was a better team than Miami. I don't think there's much of a doubt in my mind. I think Syracuse is the better team than Miami. You went to their place, played them as tough as you could, just knocked them in the teeth, and just didn't make the adjustments. I think when Syracuse plays Miami at home, let's say it's a gotta-have-it game for both teams, I do think Syracuse would pull that one out. But there's not a lot of hope that – I mean, this is the first time it's felt real that this could be a losing season. Because like you said, this is as deep as it's been where you've been a 500 team. And you've got 2 tough losses, both of which you could have had. And I'm with you. I'd probably say no right now. But
not by much.
Let's check in again.
It's going to be tight.
No, like I'm not even saying this is going to be a team that finishes above 500. either. This could just be a smack dab 15-15. That's what KenPom has them at right now. Could be a 15-15 season.
Yeah, I think this is as low as it's gotten in a regular season, which is saying a lot because there have been some really low points here in the past 7-8 years going on of this regular season funk we've been in. But I don't know, am I off there? I mean, there was that 17-14 COVID season, but I don't think it got as low as this, where you're sitting at 7-7 and you're staring down the barrel and really considering maybe this is the losing season. Like, it's always been a topic, but I feel like that topic has come up more non-conference play. We're 3 ACC games in here, and it's as real as it's been in terms of is this a losing season conversation?
Yeah, in the past, it's been a topic because people just like to make some early storylines, right? People like to hit that super early panic button. But now it's real. Now it's real. You're 1-2 in the ACC, could be 1-3 to start. And I mean, I'm just looking at some of these games the rest of the way. So here's who KenPom has listed right now as losses for Syracuse. And again, KenPom currently has Syracuse projected to go 15-15. So if you want to finish above 500 here, you'll have to flip at least one of these games while also winning all the games you're projected to win. How about this? All right. Wake Forest on the road this upcoming Saturday. Duke on the road. NC State on the road. Virginia Tech on the road. Notre Dame on the road. Duke at home. North Carolina on the road. You're going to have to flip one of those games if you want to finish above 500. And I think on the flip side, too, no guarantee you beat Louisville at home. No guarantee you beat Clemson at home. No guarantee you beat Florida State at home either. Those 3 games that I just listed off for you are all marked as wins. So when you come into the flipping game back and forth, it makes it tough. But the solace is that you've got 4 games against BC and Pitt. And we'll see what you can build off of that. Because if you don't win one of those games, then yes, this is going to be a sub 500 team, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and it's no guarantee you do. I mean, Pitt has played 3 ACC games and lost by a combined 5 points. So I mean, they were 0-3 in the ACC, but we also were 0-2 against them last year. I'm not counting anything as a sure win. After what I saw Colgate do to this defense, and Colgate is struggling.
Let's
they just
not
lost
forget,
to Lehigh. They're terrible, Colgate.
You're guaranteed, unless you think this team's winning the ACC, which I don't know why the hell you would, you're guaranteed one loss in the ACC tournament. So
that's true.
That's another loss to add to the ledger. And that counts on the record.
And then you even play the NIT at that point if you want to risk it. I don't care for the NIT if it comes to that, but hopefully we're not seriously discussing that, although it feels inevitable at this point. I will say, before we get out of here, I texted you this in the second half, but a little part of me was like, maybe this is it for Jim Boeheim.
Yeah.
Maybe this is how it ends.
And what did I say back to you? What did I say back to you?
I said, call me crazy, but I feel like this could be it. And you said you agree, right?
I said, I think I said, I don't disagree with you. Like,
yes, that's a better way of putting it.
Something along those lines. But yeah,
right.
Listen, this is frustrating because
he has been like extra cranky recently. That's why I said that. I feel like some of these post-game pressers, he's always cranky. So maybe that's off, but it just feels like he's got to be sick of this. And I was listening back. We just posted the Jeff Goodman interview.
I just listened back and I thought the same thing. Mm-hmm. Go check that out on our YouTube page. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
We recorded a while back, but he said something like, I just got to think this is it. And he straight up said, knowing nothing, pure speculation.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was like, really? I don't see that, because going into the year, and I still mostly feel this way, like it would still be a shock if I got a tweet notification in the end of this season that Jim Boeheim's gone. But it's going to be a shock regardless of when it comes, I guess. So it wouldn't be as much of a shock to me seeing the way the season is going compared to at the start of the year. And it's not because he's going to get fired, for anyone that's crazy and thinking that's the way I'm talking. I just think like maybe he's fed up.
Yeah, if you think he's getting fired, like, just get those thoughts out of your head. He's not getting fired, nor should he get fired. All right, like we're not advocating to fire Boeheim. He's obviously going to leave under his own terms, and he's deserved and earned that right to do so. But I also think he is sort of in the past brought up the importance of a succession plan. And I think he's right in that regard, especially from a recruiting standpoint, because it's going to help you out to try to make that transition as seamless as possible. But I don't think he's retiring after this year, but it wouldn't shock me if maybe...
It wouldn't shock me, yeah.
If at the end of the season he announces next year's my last. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, and for the record, I don't think our darkest days are with Jim Boeheim. I think it could get worse, so I'm not really like carrying the pitchfork for Boeheim right now. I'm just saying it crept into my mind in the second half, watching that collapse and all that. But that's going to wrap up our Miami recap podcast today. We'll be back tomorrow to preview Wake Forest and any leftover thoughts we have on this embarrassing loss today, which I'm sure we will have some thoughts. We'll get you ready for that game Saturday at 2 p.m. from Winston-Salem. If it stays on the schedule and all goes according to plan COVID-wise, we will have you a full preview podcast on tomorrow's episode. So subscribe now if you haven't already. Check us out on YouTube, totally free and available there as well. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.